but he has elements of that, obviously, because he played it, that are that exciting and vibrant.
Shit, kid, how do you know what you want until you looked around? You know, when I was your age, hell, I was even younger than you.
Is this going to be a long story?
We have a certain perception of you as being very similar to the character you play in this film. Where does Dennis Hopper begin and Huey Walker, and the characters seem so similar?
You know something? When I saw the movie last night, I thought, this is me. There's no difference between me and this character. Then I realized that, hey, you're only 6 years out of a mental institution. What's your aesthetic distance? And at that moment, it came clear to me, like a bell, and went bong. And I thought, you know, you're really just acting. This guy doesn't have anything to do with you or the 60s. But you know, God, this is fun.
But
wow, I'm so amused by this guy. Isn't he wonderful doing comedy? Isn't that great? Isn't Kiefer great straight man?
You see that?
Carol Kane is wonderful. You know, and I got with it. And then when we got to the hippie commune, I got moved. And when I heard the music and everything, I had the greatest evening of my life. And I left and said, hey, I must have lived to do this picture because I just had a good time.
Once we get out of the 80s, the 90s are going to make the 60s look like the 50s.
Where were you in the 60s? I know we all associate you with Easy Rider.
Oh, you mean where was I politically? I was
we hear stories.
I was a student nonviolent coordinating committee in civil rights, Martin Luther King. I marched from Selma to Montgomery. I was like, I was in the anti-war movement. I was like playing with drugs and alcohol and rock and roll and Monterey pop.
Sex,
and,
drugs, and rock and roll. When you think of the 60s,
free love.
Is that sort of what comes to mind? The first thing, that cliche.
Yeah. No, first thing that comes to mind when I don't think much about the 60s. I mean, today I've been barraged by it. I don't think a lot about it. I try just to think about a moment of reality and one day at a time.
60s are over, Huey. Times have changed. They passed you by.
We can't all be flower children for the rest of our lives, you know. But we don't have to be in such an all-fired hurry to grow up either. We could have a little fun first. I need women, I need drugs, I need drink, I need something, man!
Was it really, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll as everyone thinks of it?
Well, it was drugs and rock and roll.
For some, I guess.
I had more sex than drugs, not as much rock and roll as the drugs, but, you know.
There's kind of a mix.
It was. It's interesting, too, how that's completely changed, and it's not... It's 5 years ago, in this film, we would have been having a lot of fun about drugs. And we're not having any fun about drugs in this film because it's not funny.
And because drugs mean something else now.
Wait. Who said anything about us joining the system?
I know. Sorry, guys. It takes more than going down to your local video store and renting Easy Rider to be a rebel.
Are you still a rebel? You say in the movie that you...
No way.
You don't know?
No.
How come?
Well, I'm married and I'm a respectable businessman. I have a chain of laundromats and no, not laundering money, not what you're thinking. No, I'm very tied into the cartels in South America and let's see, what time is it?
I didn't realize. See, no one knows that you are such a comedian. This is all
I know,
hidden
but this is all
talent
true.
But
let me try to lie to you.
They flushed my head down a toilet. Oh, yeah, well, blame me for everything.
Did making this film make you wish that you had grown up during the 60s?
No, I'm really happy with my life the way it is right now. I do subscribe to the values and the ideals that came out of the 60s, and I think that they're tapering off to a large degree now, and I hope that this film, at least for 2 hours, for anybody who sees it, it will reiterate those values.
To win a movie soundtrack, a flashback from us, then answer me this easy question. In what movie did Dennis Hopper make his directorial debut? We'll repeat the address a little later on tonight. Next, it's the Doobie Brothers.